Ryanniag Ti Ilocos Sur, programa ngagserbi kamang kenrang tayo iti gobyerno probinsyal, lalo na iti beneg iti sanggo niyang panlalawigan ti probinsya ng Ilocos Sur. Mangted tinanay ng informasyon kadagiti programa, proyektos, tulong ken mga sistir kadagiti agproblema nga OFW ang kalugaran tayo. Ryanniag Ti Ilocos Sur, tinagaget, Produktibo Presiding Officer, the busy Governor of the Province of Ilocos Sur, Ryan Luis Singson, our main anchor, Ken Lito Javier, our co-anchor, Ryanniag Ti Ilocos Sur, at tuyen ngagsubli ngagserbi kada kayo, agsipod tada kayo ti inspirasyon mi, Ryanniag Ti Ilocos Sur, da kayo ti inspirasyon.
Hello, good morning, 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 good morning. Good morning. Once again, it's August 28, Wednesday. Kumusta kayo amin na po? Happy viewing. Wow, malamig po ang umaga po natin kasi nagtudo po tayo parbangon, tinakapigpigsa dito yung Metro Vegan area. Thanks God. Bata po ti problema, peaceful na po itaglawlaw tayo dito probinsya tayo nga Ilocos Sur, gagayem ken na po nga kailian. Mala, kumusta kaya amin na po? Gagayem ken kabsat yo, Kapidio Lito Javier, ken kastamet na po iti opisina ni Apo Vice Gobernador Ryan Singson. Tatangal daw ket adda ti maaramid apong summit dijay Kapitolyo regarding West Philippine Sea. Kahit atenderan tayo tumadamdaman dito, mga 9 o'clock papagayam. Muyong amin na katada problema iti West Philippine Sea tayo. So, kumusta kami na po dito abroad? Especially dito United States of America. Medyo pabaliw-baliw mat iti klema yun dito niya. Kadagiti dati Europe countries ket itatamat apo iti summer season da papagayam, kapudot na tatadita. Uy, adadta ni Sir Louis Alcatra nga agpasya-pasyar dita. Papagayam, Monaco, Monte Carlo, ti ayan datata. Happy viewing, Sir Louis, kumusta ka dita? Kitang basit at mangyawid ka datay long-legged. Okay, lawela. Kanon to nga tamot nga mapadasan ti papan aglakbay walay kadagita nga lugar gagayem ken na po kailian. Amoyo tay kunada nga roden apon no da ka ditoy rabaw ti pagilian, rabaw ti lubong habang may buhay, may pag-asa kunada mat. Ken the rest of your life akat enjoy kunada mat mga kaibigan. Talaga sana makapag-enjoy po tayong lahat mga kaibigan para naman kahit papano non to ipulang tayo apo iti kakaysuna nga binulod tayo tumang nga biag at apo nga na marswa at least napadasan tayo tumang nga pinasyar na kita amo tayo tumang ti bagbaga tayo kini San Pedro, di po ba? Alam, musta kaya amin na po, jokingly aside mga kaibigan, anya na kita issue tayo, ay sus Mario Josep, ang laking issue to mga nai-scam. Bakit kayo nagtitiwala kasi sa mga napakalaking kita ng inyong pera mga kaibigan? Ang dami-dami po yung mga kooperatiba po dyan. Ang dami po yung mga rural bank dyan na paglaanan nyo po ng inyong pundo. Da kayo nga retired police, retired soldiers, andyan po yung APSLY mga kaibigan. Kung gusto nyo kumita ng malaki, agbiag kay moten apo diya okay kay moten adya 5%. Di ba? Ako nangungutang ako hanggang 5% lang po ako. Ayaw ko yung lampas ng 5% kasi sobra na 'yon. Mga kaibigan, pero naman kayo ay gusto nyo malaki ang kikitahin ng pera ninyo. Akalain mo 200,000 in 1 month kikita ka lang ng 140,000 pesos, almost double your money mga kaibigan. Meron ba namang negosyong ganyan? Saan ba sila kukuha ng pambayad sa inyo kahit sa tubo lang, Mahirap, di ba? Ay nako, kalain mo ba naman yan mga kaibigan? Sige nga, magkwentahan po tayo. No, 50 million ko man in-invest mo, 50 million, 5%, no, 1 million, 5%, at dati 50,000 mo a month, mga kaibigan. A month po yun may mga ganyan. Tapos uutang ka ng 1 million, ag-collateral ka, siyak na padasak timutang, 100,000 naka-collateral. Di ka kay suna nga lote ko, mga kaibigan, naka-collateral. Gasam dat. Da kayo, hang kayo nga mapnak. Namin ano nga adati inigama ko na po nga kastoy nga cases, mga kaibigan. Pero nung una, sa product po sila. Product. Uri DJ, umumay dito idi, kara, malagip mo, DJ, barlay. Sabi ko naman, parang scam yun. Kasi 200,000 puhunan mo, may product ka, ibebenta mo. Di ba? May, mano yung offer na di, 10%? Nandiyan agriro. Mga ganon. Nagpasok ako sa kanya, may commission siya. Pag nag-recruit ako, may commission siya. May commission din ako. Ganon. Pag nakabenta ako, may commission din ako. May commission din sila, ganon, mga kaibigan. Pero may product po yun. Ure pwede ko ID. Dejay naganda na taykwan, kapen, renecruit nak, di just talwad ng iikit ko linakwan nak, 10,000 pa lang idi, mga kaibigan. Yan naganda na dejay kwan, Nida, pati ni Miss Nida Altares, Dakata Dubai. Hello, good morning, Miss Nida. May product kang bibilhin, mga kaibigan. Okay lang yun. At least may product. Hindi po yung magbibigay ka ng pera tapos papangakuhan ka nila na may malaking porsyento yung pera mo. Malagip yung pa dati natay dito santa nga bakla. Malagip yung pa ipapagayam. No, agpautang na yikit ko nasa 10% siya. Ganon, 10%. No, ag-invest ka mat, dijay, kanya na, well, malaki po yung nasa 20% yata if I'm not mistaken, kasi naado na allokoy na, insert na ti stock market, mga kaibigan, and then, baga nang magpe-pay out ka na, uncle, ganon. Then, pag nag-pay out ka na, ito yung interest ng pera mo, ipasok mo para may dagdag din sa kita mo para next payout mo mas malaki na. Sige. Puro pasok, walang out, mga kaibigan. Puro pasok. Yun. And then kinas out niya lahat. Then inilaan yung budget sa pundo sa isang double your money. Dahil nasarakan da iti, kadagi taga Cebu iti nga billions apo iti nakulimbat na kadagi iti tattao, double your money. Ano na kayang nangyari yon? Inimbestigaran pa iti Senado dahil iti, mga kaibigan. Parang naglaw na parang bula, wala na, di ba? Kasi apo dagiti investors, mga kaibigan, kasi naniwala po sila ang daming kalukuhan, di ba? Ada pa yung experience me di. Kaya mo gumatang ti Fortuner, good as brand new, Brad. Kaya lang walang yellow paper, pero Xerox lang. Pinabusisi ko, sabi ng mga kaibigan ko, wag mong patulan yan. Kasi mga yan, sindikato yan. Yun pala, yung mga sasakyan na yon ay libas apo di jay pagkor, libas jay kastoy nga kasino, nagiti na isalsalda, mga kaibigan, yung mga yellow pepper nila, puro mga Xerox lang. Ada tinabiktima dito idi. Amo tayo pa'y sikat tinagan na mga kaibigan. Pero sa akin, bebenta nila ako ng Fortuner noon, 500,000. Wow, wow, wow. Muntik ko ng pinatos. Pasok ko sana sa financing mga kaibigan. Pero siyempre sa financing, kailangan naman yung yellow paper eh. Pag kinita mo, pinakita mo, may rehistrom. Awang problema doon kasi sa LTO, pag nakita nila na okay naman yung xerox ng yellow paper, may rehistrom mat, awang problema, gagayam ka na pokel yan. Ganon, di ba? Pero sindikato pa rin yon. Ito yung masaklap. Okay? Pag naglaan ka ng pondo mo, kas mo, papuhunan, ibagada po nga para iti panagtaraken ti baboy, di may nga lugar, like in Quezon, kasi bawal po sa atin, agpataraken tayo, dedakkel nga pigeri parang tayo di Quezon, agpunan ka lang ti kastoy. Okay, di 100,000 mo, agbalinto nga, ag-interest iti 40,000, kung kunada mga kaibigan, iti makabulan, aki siyempre, napakalaking halaga po yun. So di ko nadama na gidad duma, nag-interest si kwartada, 200,000 yin tapugda, nag-140 ti, neto dati makabulan. Imbes nga i-cash out dang irwarda, nainayon pay, tapos ninayunan da pay. So daragiti nag-invest apo ti 1 million, 2 million, 150,000, 200,000, mga ganon. Ito po yung farm to market, mga kaibigan. Kasi idikal man, dimulog da po, napanday yung opisina niya po Vice Gobernador Ryan, nakad-ado da, mga kaibigan, dito probinsya nga Ilocos Sur. Hello! Kumusta kayo? Dagiti niya nag-invest, ada kano pa apo dagiti kakabagyan da di abroad, nga nakwadamat na naawis da, naalukoy da, gagayam ka na po kailian, nga ag-invest apo iti farm to market. Yun. So, hindi kalman, awanan, karidang ag-payout daw, ang kanuma, for how many times, payout here, payout there, wala naman, mape-payout. Hindi ko handa makontak da manager da na po. Hindi ko da manager da, gagayam ka na po kailan, sa bali, nawanan, no contact, loss command. Imay di kalma, nagkikita dari sa governor's office, nagpapatangda, parang wala lang. Okay, awa na, kaya damo alata ate, agdemanda gito, so nga napanda na po, in front of the lawyer, idi kalman, at adamat client na gayam da ito, gayam tayo man ni Atty. De Leon, papagayam, same story, ore pa di Ilocos Norte, same story, da gito mat, kaya't na po maimbestigaran, di jay, sanggunyang panlalawigan, takaslamo ila Ilocos Norte, indulog da po Ilocos Norte, particularly Ilawag City, so nga under investigation di sa City Council. Kaya tamat agad, baka maybe next month, mabalin siguro met apo nga adalan nga na siya data iti biyang tisanggunyang panlalawigan, iti probinsya tayo nga Ilocos Sur, takitain da po no kasano iti remedyo na ti pan nakapasubli dagitoy nga kwarta na giti kailian tayo. Tati kararag na di kalman, ore yalangan puunan. Ore kanulangan apo na puunan laangan. Mga kaibigan, deta na po iti riga na, mga kaibigan. Nagrigat agornong ti kwarta po, nagrigat ag-invest po, narigat iti agsapol kung nakidi ka nagornong kwarta, nga para iti pamilya. Para ti pamilya, para ti anakmi, para kadagitay agbasan tong anakmi, so nga, kaya mi matanga dumakkel. Well, hantayo apo ma-question randa gito'y tattao, kaya damat nga dumakkel yung kwartada. Siyempre, serrekenda mga kaibigan. Kesa na yay, agpautang da po iti 5-6, nga kunadamat gagayam ka na po, kailan nga makwada, maamakda, mabuteng da po, ngam, dayay, kaslaim po utang damit lang, apo, kumpanya lang nga rod, dayay mangigam, manghandle, papagayam. So, hindi kalman, nakadado da, napandan nagpa-police blatter, gibigan, for that matter, ket siguro, dayay to sumaruno, dayay legal na, dayay darom, mga kaibigan, dayay to darom. Then, nung yagriro, tatangal daw, mapandan sa Pedita National Bureau of Investigation. Papagayam, tapno itikasta po, tapno iti kasta gagayem ken apokel yan, dagitoy aket ikkan na po iti nananay nga importansya. Siyempre, kwarta na ito eh. Nuyagriro, more than 20 to more than 30 million. Iti naipasok nga kwarta, naala kwarta dito'y probinsya tayo nga Ilocos Sur. Nga nai-invest apo iti daytay bagbagada nga farm to market. Papagayam. Laki niya nga ron, kikinantyaw kami di kalman. Aduma dagiti am-ammo idi kalman, gagayem kaya na po kailian. Nga nag-ginvest, nag-isa rekwartada. Kaya kung na nga ron, di kayo palaki impautang kanyak. Kung na mga lukulukwan. Di kayo palaki nga impautang kanyak nga bali nga naging interes aklat ta kuman, ta kwartayon. Kung na nga kanya dapiman nga manya nga rod. Agagayam ka na po kailian, di damot apo nga siguro napanuno damat angem siyempre naiayo dala ka nga rod mat dayay investments damat mga kaibigan. Saan ka na ba naman makakita ng kumpanya na nag-alok sa'yo ng almost 100% mga kaibigan? Sa kikitain mo kada buwan, grabe naman yun. 200,000 maging 140,000. Depende sa laki ng pera. Hindi ka damo, may panggip lang tinigib buryas, pataraken na po iti piggery. And then after that, manok. Pero sa bandang huli, naging cellphone at saka car accessories na, mga kaibigan. Apo. Diging kami, paano yon? Diging kami na po, adati bagbagada nga kumpanya, nga nagpatakder iti piggery farm. Digay Quezon Province, mga kaibigan. Kasi ito yan tayo, bawal, di ba? Bawal na kita. Bawal tagtaraken di baboy ka na giti balbalay. So nga naigi apo, iti naiyalok na. Tapos, hindi ko ansyon, sarano da manen, digay poultry. Then after the poultry, bagada ka numanen, mga kaibigan, cellphone accessories and car accessories. Bakit ganon? Nakita yung kadi, kung na niya po Vice Gov, nakita yung kadi na jay poultry farm, nakita yung kadi na jay piggery farm. Wawan, sir. Tapos, agbayad da, through bank remittance, MED mo may bayag, through personal, ngayawat na yung kwartan, with acknowledgement receipt only. Tapos, ada ka no pa post-dated check, mga kaibigan, nga is issue da. Pero wala naman laman, talbog. So, bahala na po kayo. Sad to say, kalugaran tayo apo dito'y naging recruiter po nila from norte to Bigan area, taga Bigan, taga Tamag, yung recruiter, mga kaibigan. Si Madam Claire. Pero, yan, kasi rimwar pa yan na po. Tingamin na namatsyanda, agdingdingag da po ti FM station. Dahil yung FM station, mga kaibigan, radio station na po, sikat mat, tapos nagpa-advertise na dijay for almost, diyan ka mo, naman nga bulanan, dangdangga nga road, umapalakpay, dandanik pa'y pan-recruiter na po nga ipasok tamo dito yang ko, pero, baglaki dito nagsarimadungak, mga kaibigan, yon pala, ay may problema lalo na ngayon. So, napintas might no rimwar na ito yan nga issue, tayo di ilimad-limad da, mga kaibigan, palagi po daw nag-promise po yung manager nila na si Claire na magpe-pay out po sila, magbabayad po sila. Tapos imbaga na pa yung other friends nga pay out, damagan da di kalman, may baga. Tapos kunana, wala akong sinabi na may branch po tayo na magpe-payout. Paglibakan naman, yun pala, nasa konbo nila. Konbo, mga kaibigan. Nasa konbo nila. Yun ang problema sa ngayon. Napakalaking pera po iyan, mga kaibigan. Napakalaking pera. Tingnan nyo, grabe. Kung ang arod gagayam ka na po kailan, wag naman sana ganon. Alam ko naman na naghihirap, pinaghirapan nila yan, pera po nila yan, Gagayem ka na po kailan, ket apay nga itata, ket kastamet apo iti, napasamak gagayem ka na po kailan. Bakit? Ya? Bakit nagkaganon? Mga kaibigan, pera po nila yan. Yan. So, duma po, maging maingat at magmatsyag po tayo. Gagayem ka na po kailan. When? Okay, so please lang, pakipalo and share po yung program namin. Hello Sir Liuvert Tabag, good morning. Ma'am Cora Fernando, good morning. How are you? Pare Bentorano, kumusta ka padre? Happy viewing padre. Bakasyon kagaya, madanto ti reunion, alaket it's good to see you. Nabayag na tiyempo nga hantayo nga nagkikita. Okay, happy viewing. Maestro Ben Torano. Okay, kumusta ka padre? Happy viewing. Tira ito yung oras ken kanito. Ayan. Kung aram ga Diyos apo, nagriga nga panunutan ang niya nga rod. Nangyari yan dyan Okay, andyan na mga kaibigan. Okay, commercial break muna tayo. Kara, agsumlinak to po.
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Di kooperatiba ano bayagin nagseserbi kadang di Ilocano iti amyanan a Luzon. Di kooperatiba ang manpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo, ken mangisakit kariti empleyado, ken miyembro na. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives muna NSCC ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayan medit na mayat alangin-langin ken kooperasyon dagiti miyembro ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinagduroasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti naynayon ang kasdek akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza, ken NSCC Business Center. Isungan niya pelang ter orayem makikapengkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suman na NSCC, imatmatunan na daytoy ni Dr. Gibina Kenny.
Paapugan iti makayayo abuya iti uneg iti pagtaingam. Anya nga nagasapulam kas ti moderno a klase isilaw kada didati chandelier LED lights kenda dumapay kasabay karigiti agkakapintas a toilet bowl wall claddings stainless sa lababo kasamet ten na dumaduma ti klase na a tiles kenda dumapay a materyales agkasapulan ti pagbangon ti balay pasyaren ti AC Newborn Home and Builder Center. Nalawa ti showroom da, agkomportable kang agpiliti kayat mo a disenyo. Mabalin pa'y nga isuda iti magi-set up kadagiti gatangin. Masarakan sa Rizal Street, Sulphur, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. Imatmatunan ng Mr. and Mrs. Alain Chan. Saanen ngagtaktak mapankan sa JAC Newborn Home and Builders Center.
Bisitahin ti Barua Pwesto ti AC Newborn Labern Hardware sa National Highway, Barangay Puerto Real, Santo Domingo, Ilocos Sur. Exclusive distributor iti Wadpo, Handy Tools ken Power Tools. Aglagipen, Wadpo first in Ilocos Sur, exclusive distributor of Power and Handyman Tools. Mapangayon sa JAC Newborn Lumber Hardware at Wadpo Vijay, Santo Domingo, Ilocos Sur.
As the heritage province of the North reopens to tourists, it launches the all-new Tour Ilocos Sur app. A quick guide to Ilocos Sur at your fingertips. Find the best tourist spots. Hotels. bars and restaurants. And authentic Ilocos Sur products and food. Be updated on upcoming events, plus get notified on the important announcements and updates. Available for global download on Android and iOS. The Tour Ilocos Sur app. Historical becomes digital.
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Di kooperatiba ano bayagin nga nagseserbi kadang ti Ilocano iti amyanan a Luzon. Di kooperatiba ang magpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo, ken mangisakit karili empleyado ken miyembro na. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives wala NSCC ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayin med iti namayat alangin-langin ken kooperasyon dagiti miyembro ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinaturoasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti naynayon ang kasbek akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza, ken NSCC Business Center. Isungan niya pelang ter-orayam makikapengkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives suman na NSCC, imatmatunan na daytoy ni Dr. Divina Kenny.
Rapaapugan iti makayayo abuya iti uneg iti pagtaingam. Anyaman nagasapulam kas ti moderno a klase isilaw kada dita ti chandelier LED lights ken dumapay kasabay kadagiti agkakapintas a toilet bowl wall claddings stainless sa lababo kasamit ten na dumaduma ti klase na a tiles ken dumapay a materyales agkasapulan ti pagbangon ti balay pasyaren ti AC Newborn Home and Builder Center. Nalawat ti showroom da, agkomportable kang agpili ti kayat mo a disenyo. Mabalin pa nga isuda iti mag-set up kadagiti gatangin. Masarakan sa Rizal Street, Sulphur, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. Imatmatunan na Mr. and Mrs. Alain Chan. Saanen ngagtaktak mapankan sa JAC Newborn Home and Builders Center.
Bisitahin ti Barua Pwesto ti AC Newborn Labern Hardware sa National Highway, Barangay Puerta Real, Santo Domingo, Ilocos Sur. Exclusive distributor iti Wadpo. Handy tools ken power tools.
Aglagipen, Wadpo first in Ilocos Sur, exclusive distributor of power and handyman tools. Opan kayon sa JAC Newborn Lumber and Hardware at Wadpo Vijay, Santo Domingo, Ilocos Sur.
President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
All right. We go straight to the oath taking. All those who will take their oath, please stand up and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, your name, having been elected to the position of your position, do hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines. That I will support and defend the Constitution. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the laws, legal orders and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines. And that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily, without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President, and congratulations to all the oath takers. To deliver his message, ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Naninibago ako sa kanya, nakabarong kayo. It's not our normal, but never mind. This is an important occasion. So, first of all, of course, the newly elected officials and officers of the National Press Club, the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas, of course, Malacanang Press Corps, the Malacanang Cameramen Association, and the Presidential Photojournalists Association. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We witnessed today the oath-taking of the newly elected officers of our esteemed media groups, reaffirming our commitment to the principles and ideals of responsible journalism, one of the foundations of any democracy. I congratulate the newly elected officers of the NPC of the Philippines, the kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas, the Malacanang Press Corps, the Malacanang Cameramen Association, and the Presidential Photojournalists Association, as you embrace the task of news reporting. Your courage and passion in championing freedom of speech and expression in our communities echo the aspirations of our people. In an age when information drives the progress of our society, your dedication to lending expertise to help speak the truth on matters of national importance and promote objectivity in the face of conflicting news is invaluable. I ask that you continue to adhere to the utmost ethical and professional standards of journalism, free from sensationalism, bias, and personal motives. Help us see and address the weaknesses of our system. Continue to uphold our nation's best interests so that our country can continue to flourish. I trust that you will also make the most of your platforms by amplifying the voices of the marginalized so that they too can take part in the building of our nation. Your persistent efforts have aided us in shaping a more enlightened and empowered citizenry, one that is more capable of joining our pursuit of a stronger bagong Pilipinas. So as you fulfill your mandate, I urge you to remain at the forefront of our efforts in helping our people distinguish truth from misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. A most important issue as we are facing all kinds of information, and it has become harder and harder, especially the proliferation of social media. It has become harder and harder for the ordinary citizen who does not follow necessarily closely the events that are being reported upon. And therefore, it's difficult for them to discern what is fake news, what is real news, what is propaganda, what is pure objective information. Whereas before, journalists, especially, let's start with print journalists. Print journalists would not print anything until they have verified, validated with more than one source, never just one single source, always a second, a third, as many as possible, before printing any information, uh, anything in print. On television and when Trimedia came into play, that's the same thing. Because if a radio commentator or a television commentator says something that is patently false, they will be taken to task for it. And people can check and people can verify. And so that is how we develop trusted journalists. And you say, when this journalist speaks, totoo yan. Kasi hindi nagsasalita yan kung hindi pinag-research na mabuti, kung hindi pinag-isipan, kung hindi nakakaunawa na mabuti dun sa issue na kanyang pinag-uusapan. Ngayon, kahit sino pwedeng mag-post ng kahit na ano under an assumed name. It is for an ordinary person who is too busy with their own lives, trying to make a living, trying to feed their families. They do not have time to go back and look at the documents and research and say, this guy is true, this guy is not true. And so that is where our problem now lies. And it is a very, very difficult one. We have just read the news about the CEO of Telegram being arrested in France. And this brings us again to how do we balance this new technology of social media with the responsibilities of the fourth estate and the responsibilities that we do not allow to proliferate harmful posts, harmful information, false and fake information. And that is, we are battling with this at all times. However, and I remember an interview with a New York Times reporter who was working in the Middle East. And he was asked, he said, what is the relevance of newspapers now? Nobody reads newspapers. They go to the internet. Even if they read your newspapers, it's on a computer. But there have many other sources now. And I remember very well his answer. He says, I have lived here in the Middle East and have reported in the Middle East for the last 25 years. I know the personalities. They know me. I know the evolution of the situation here. And whenever I'm given a press release, I look into it. And I ask many other sources and say, is this true? Is this correct? Is this the right interpretation? Before I write it down in the paper. And he said, the reason that you still need to read the paper is that we are experts at what we do. And we have been honing that expertise over many years. With social media, I will use his precise words, any pimply-faced 16-year-old sitting in his basement can write a post. And you have no way to verify if it is indeed somebody who has some knowledge, some background on what they are doing, on what they are writing about. And that is where you come in. That is where the reliable journalists come in. So that we know, as the reading public, the watching public, so that we can know that these are the people that we can trust. Because everything that they say is verified. Sometimes it's not nothing, nobody's 100% right. But they do their very best to get it right. And that, I think, is where we stand right now. I'm not saying that there are any magic bullets or easy solutions to this, but we must continue to try to provide our public we must continue to provide our public with the proper information, because this affects their lives, this affects the decisions that they make in their lives. And we have seen how fake news has become. I think it was most prevalent during COVID, when you did not know what anybody was talking about. And people were saying, you know, I remember reading this, that, oh, what you should be doing is doing this, that, and the other thing. And then you would look, who is writing this? I would always look, who is this person writing this? What are their qualifications to write this? And you would get pathologists. You would pathologists. The pathologists don't have to worry about infectious diseases. If they make a mistake, doesn't matter. Their patients are already dead. You have these commentators who have no medical training. Well, all of this kind of thing, and that is where that has evolved. It has become even worse since COVID. So it is, but the technology exists, and that is why we have to be very, very careful and to be very, very clear what the mission of journalists are, what the true mission of the fourth estate is, that to provide clear information and intelligent and cogent and profound analysis, not just some off the cuff, advice that I don't know, that they just thought up while they were drinking with their friends. So these are the issues that we are facing. They are not interested. These people that post fake news are not interested in providing news. They're interested in getting followers, because more followers, more money. So you see all the ridiculous situations there where kung ano-ano ginagawa basta't may manunood. The worst part is that some of these crazy people, even those who do not disagree with them, follow them, because they are interested in what's this crazy guy saying now. So nadadagdagan pa rin. So they continue becoming crazy because they have more followers that way. And sobriety and common sense and real and true information therefore becomes even more important than I think it has ever become in our entire history. The mass, the volume of information is so much because of our technological advances. It is so much that we must play a part in trying to help ordinary readers, citizens, to discern what is news, what is propaganda, and what is just outright fakery. And that's where we stand. Trust this administration will always remain committed to making the country safe for journalists and media practitioners, so you can practice you can exercise your profession. We have made strides in holding accountable those who have committed violence on our media personnel and practitioners. We have filed cases against suspects. Our law enforcement agencies continue to work hard to bring other perpetrators to justice. There is no place for violence against the media in Bagong Pilipinas. And so I invite everyone here today to continue strengthening this partnership between the media and the government. It is critical. It is critical. We need media to be there. Government would not function as well as it does without the media. Because if unfettered, government can go in any direction, and we need once in a while a watchdog to say, look, you're going too far this way. You've made a mistake here, and it makes us think, make us re-examine what we have done, and perhaps take into account what has been said by our media practitioners. I always say when there are reports and there are people who are critical of my administration, and people say, why do you listen to that? They just put you in a bad mood. And I said, they might be right. There's a chance that despite being critical of you, maybe one guy's right. So listen to everything. Don't shoot the messenger. If they really believe what they're saying, then think about it. Baka naman tama siya. And that's why we need you. We need the media. I always consider you partners in government, and that the check and balance that you provide is very important. And so that is an important role to play to secure a vibrant democracy where discussions are being held at every level on every subject. So with your cooperation, we can bring about the bagong Pilipinas that we envision for ourselves and for our children. Let us continue working together to achieve this goal. Once again, congratulations to all the new officers. Mabuhay ang ating mga mamahayag. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat sa inyo lahat at magandang hapon.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, may we request the President to kindly grant us a photo opportunity. First, may we call on stage the National Press Club Executive Officers and Board of Directors. Kapisanan ng mga broadcaster sa Pilipinas, Board of Trustees and Standard Authority Directors, kindly stand by. Thank you. Please exit to your right. KBP Board of Trustees and Standard Authority Directors, please proceed on stage. Malacanang Press Corps officers, please stand by. Thank you. Please exit to your left. Thank you. Please exit to your left. Malacanang Press Corps officers, please proceed on stage. Malacanang Cameramen Association, please stand by. Thank you. Please exit to your left. Malacanang Cameramen Association, please proceed on stage. Presidential Photojournalists Association, please stand by. Thank you. Please exit to your left. Finally, may we call on stage Presidential Photojournalists Association. Thank you. Thank you. Please exit to your right. Thank you, Mr. President, for granting us a photo opportunity. And that concludes our oath-taking ceremony.
Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives. Di kooperatiba ano bayagin ng seserbi, kadang di Ilocano iti amyanan Luzon. Di kooperatiba ang magpapaay ti serbisyo, benepisyo, ken mangisakit kariti empleyado, ken miyembro na. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives, muna NSCC, ket adon tinatulungan na. Babayin med iti namayat alangin-langin, ken kooperasyon, dagiti miyembro, ken mangimatmaton. Adon tinagduroasan ti kooperatiba. Adupay dagiti naynayon ang kasdek, akas ti NSCC Farm, Chicharon Processing Facility, Macro Laboratory, kastameten ti NSCC Plaza, ken NSCC Business Center. Isungan niya pelang ter orayam makikapingkan iti kadakilan a kooperatiba iti probinsya. Di Nueva Segovia Consortium of Cooperatives, suman ni NSCC, imatmatunan na daytoy ni Dr. Divina Kenny.
Napaapugan iti makayayo abuya iti uneg iti pagtaingam. Anyaman nagasapulam kas ti moderno a klase isilaw kada didati chandelier LED lights kenda dumapay kasabay kadagiti agkakapintas at toilet bowl wall claddings stainless sa lababo kasameten na dumaduma ti klase na a tiles kenda dumapay a materyales nagasapulan ti pagbangon ti balay pasyaren ti AC Newborn Home and Builder Center. Nalawa ti showroom da ag komportable kang agpiliti kayat mo a disenyo, mabalin pa nga isuda iti magi-set up kadagiti gatangin. Masarakan sa Rizal Street, Sulphur, Bantay, Ilocos Sur. Imat matunan na Mr. and Mrs. Alain Chan. Saanen ngagtaktak mapankan sa JAC Newborn Home and Builders Center.
Bisitahin ti Barua Pwesto ti AC Newborn Lumber and Hardware sa National Highway, Barangay Puerto Real, Santo Domingo, Ilocos Sur. Exclusive distributor iti Wadpo. Handy tools can power tools.
Aglagipen, Wadpo first in Ilocos Sur, exclusive distributor of power and handyman tools. Papan gayon sa JAC Newborn Lumber and Hardware at Wadpo Dijay, Santo Domingo, Ilocos Sur.
As the Heritage Province of the North reopens to tourists, it launches the all-new Tour Ilocos Sur app. A quick guide to Ilocos Sur at your fingertips. Find the best tourist spots. Hotels. Bars and restaurants. And authentic Ilocos Sur products and food. Be updated on upcoming events, plus get notified on the important announcements and updates. Available for global download on Android and iOS. The Tour Ilocos Sur app. Historical becomes digital.
President of the Republic of the Philippines, and His Excellency President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, President of the Republic of Singapore. May we invite the members of the Philippine and Singapore delegations to take their seats. Now the two presidents will witness the exchange of Memorandum of Understanding between the Department of Migrant Workers of the Republic of the Philippines and the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Singapore on the recruitment of Filipino healthcare workers. May we invite the Honorable Hans Gakdak, Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers of the Republic of the Philippines, and His Excellency Ong Ye Kyu Kung, Minister of Health of the Republic of Singapore, to exchange the signed Memorandum of Understanding between the Department of Migrant Workers and the Ministry of Health. The MOU signed by the Philippines and Singapore signified that the desire of both countries to continue to deepen and strengthen bilateral relations and provide a formal mechanism to govern and regulate the deployment of Filipino healthcare workers to Singapore, as well as provide support for their eventual reintegration. Thank you, Secretary Kakdak and Minister Ong. Next, may we invite the Honorable Maria Antonia Yulo Loizaga, Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources of the Republic of the Philippines, and Her Excellency Grace Fu, Minister for Sustainability and the Environment and Minister in charge of Trade Relations of the Republic of Singapore, to exchange the signed Memorandum of Understanding between the Department of Environment and Natural Resources and Ministry of Trade and Industry for collaboration on carbon credits under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. The MOU signed by the Philippines and Singapore signify the desire of both countries to continue to cooperate and work together in achieving national development in a sustainable way. Thank you, Secretary Yulo Loizaga and Minister Fu. This concludes the exchange of signed agreements. At this point, may we invite His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., President of the Republic of the Philippines, to deliver his statement, to be followed by His Excellency President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, President of the Republic of Singapore.
To our friends in the media, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to once again thank His Excellency President Tharman Shanmugaratnam, Head of State of the Republic of Singapore, for accepting my invitation to visit the Philippines. In this regard, I am pleased to inform all of you the results of our successful meeting with the President that we just had in our bilateral meeting. We had very open, frank, and wide-ranging, and I think it's safe to say that we literally went beyond the agenda that was laid out before us and covered so many subjects. And I think had we not been signaled by our protocol officers, we could have gone on for a very long time. But that is indicative of the state of Philippines-Singapore bilateral cooperation. The state visit was undertaken at the most opportune time, as this year marks the 55th anniversary of our country's diplomatic relations and comes upon the heels of several high-level visits in which both sides have undertaken the year stated, since the year has begun. Our bilateral relations have come a long way and have undergone immense transformation since they were established over 5 decades ago. Our meeting today was an opportunity to reaffirm and review our bonds of friendship and see how we can build upon them further. The ties that bind us go beyond geography and are based on our strong people-to-people connection. This has given rise to the strong, multifaceted relationship which we enjoy today. As we have discussed before, Singapore continues to be an essential trade and investment partner of the Philippines, with Singapore businesses venturing into a wide sector of industries in the Philippines, ranging from the hospital industry to the renewable energy sector. In this spirit, we have just witnessed the exchange of the Memoranda of Understandings for collaboration on carbon credits under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement between the Department of Environment and Natural Resources of the Philippines and the Ministry of Trade and Industry of the Republic of Singapore. Hopefully, with this memorandum, we will be able to incentivize both industries and individuals to actively work to reduce their carbon footprint, while allowing the government to mobilize financial resources to boost fiscal space. We also witnessed today the exchange of the Memorandum of Understanding on the recruitment of Filipino healthcare workers. Our ministries have worked hard on this MOU in order to ensure that a balance is achieved between the needs of the healthcare sector of both countries, as well as the need for personal development and growth of our healthcare workers. Through this MOU, we express our confidence in Singapore's legal and judicial system, which will ensure that the rights, welfare, and well-being of our kababayan OFWs will be protected as they pursue their careers in Singapore. In addition to the MOU stated above, another MOU on health cooperation is presently being negotiated by our health ministries so that when the contracts of our OFWs are nearing completion, they will be able to reintegrate into the Philippine economy with ease. There will also be the planned signing of MOUs by Philippine local government units and their Singapore private sector partners, a collaboration of a Philippine national government agency and the Singaporean private sector, and the business-to-business agreement. Aside from bilateral issues, we also discussed regional issues of mutual interest. As geographical neighbors in Southeast Asia, the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea holds great importance to both our countries. So we look forward to the opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to maintain and to promote peace, security, and stability in the region, as well as our strong support for the peaceful resolution of any such disputes. Furthermore, as fellow founding member states of ASEAN, the Philippines and Singapore have discussed shared our concerns on developments in Myanmar, which had undoubtedly affected both Singaporeans and Filipinos alike. We have continued to speak on this in all the ASEAN fora, and we have all come to the consensus that a peaceful solution, as prescribed under ASEAN's 5-point consensus, is more urgent now than ever before. To this end, I thank President Tharman and his wife, Mrs. Jane Itogi, for taking the time to come to the Philippines and wish to express my heartfelt appreciation for this meaningful and timely visit. Thank you very much.
Well, President Marcos Jr., ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, good evening. Let me say from my heart a big thank you to President Marcos Jr. For your warm hospitality, for the generosity with which you've given me your views in the course of our long bilateral discussion, and for the spirit which you convey, the spirit with which we should embark on the strengthening of the relationship between our two countries. We are on a good track. And we've agreed, both through the agreements that we were signing today, we are exchanging today, as well as through some of the existing work that's going on between our two countries, including in defense cooperation. We've agreed that we should strengthen this relationship, broaden it, and make it a forward-looking relationship. My visit comes at a time when Singapore and the Philippines are commemorating our 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations, and it follows on President Marcos's recent visit to Singapore just in May this year. We reaffirm the warm and long-standing relationship between Singapore and the Philippines. It's a relationship that brings mutual benefits. We are natural partners. We're natural partners, and what we're doing together brings benefit for both of us, for today as well as for tomorrow. And I'm heartened to see how far the relationship is progressing. And each time we meet, in fact, since the last time President Marcos Jr. came to Singapore, just a few months ago, we've already made significant progress on several fronts, including on the MOUs that we just signed today. They're basically testament also to the way Singapore looks at the Philippines. We see ourselves as a partner in Philippines development in all aspects: economic development, sustainability, inclusive growth. We see ourselves as a partner for the long term. We would like to participate in Philippines development, both through our companies investing in the Philippines. We'd like to share our experience where relevant, And we would also like to learn from the Philippines on how you tackle a range of complex challenges, including on the environment. We are very different countries, of course, vastly different in land and population size. I think you've got some superior talent in sports that we can also learn from. But we are different countries that can learn from each other. Essentially, though, we share the same aspirations. We all share the same aspirations. Our people want to see their lives improve. They'd like to be able to deal with the cost of living. They'd like good health care, good education, and fulfilling lives. Wherever we go in the region, people want fulfilling lives. And that's why we can work together. Through our governments with each other, through our corporates, as well as through philanthropic agencies. I note that Temasek Foundation and one of our hospitals, Singapore's KK Women and Children's Hospital, are working well with Taguig City towards an MOU on assistance on maternal and child health care, for instance. And as close neighbors, we've always supported each other, particularly at times of need. The Singapore Red Cross engaged in significant public fundraising when Typhoon Haiyan hit the Philippines a decade ago. That's just one example. There are other examples, including the disaster relief work done by Humanity Matters, another Singapore-based humanitarian organization that worked together with the municipal authorities, NGOs, and local communities in various provinces like Cagayan, Mindanao, Isabela, and Balangas after various disasters in recent years. Another important area is the conservation of biodiversity. We didn't talk so much about this 3 decades ago. Now President Marcos Jr. and I agreed it is central to cooperation between our countries. Biodiversity is part of the natural wealth of the Philippines and the region, and preserving it is an important priority for us wherever we are. I happen to be the patron of Mandai Nature, which is a conservation arm of Singapore's Mandai Wildlife Group. And I recently visited a breeding program at Mandai Wildlife for the Philippines' national bird, the Philippine eagle. Beautiful bird, but critically endangered. It's an example of what we need to do to collaborate together to, in this instance, preserving a very important bird species. And we can work together to take advantage of resources and expertise on both sides to be able to keep that part of biodiversity and many other parts of biodiversity alive. Singapore believes firmly in the Philippines' economic potential. Our companies are keen to invest in the Philippines. In fact, we're one of the top foreign investors in the Philippines in a range of industries: transport and logistics, real estate and hospitality, telecommunications, utilities, and now increasingly the whole sphere of renewable energy. So I look forward to some of the companies meeting us later at the banquet that President Marcos Jr. is hosting. But there's a much larger group of companies besides those that are present today who are very keen to explore opportunities in the Philippines. And I understand too that as far as infrastructure cooperation is concerned, Infrastructure Asia, Singapore-based Infrastructure Asia, is working towards an MOU with the Cebu provincial government that would help address Cebu's infrastructural needs, particularly with regard to clean water supply that can serve many municipalities and waste-to-energy facilities. We're also very keen to work on some other new areas of collaboration. President Marcos spoke about carbon credits collaboration. It's an extremely important initiative between our two countries, and we're looking forward to the conclusion of besides the MOU that has been signed today, we're looking forward to the conclusion of the legally binding implementation agreement aligned with Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. In fact, there are companies that are already lining up their projects to be able to take advantage of this implementation agreement on carbon credits. One of them, in fact, is Keppel Corporation in Singapore, the Keppel Group, which together with Gen Zero is working with the Ayala Group, I believe in South Luzon, on a project that involves early retirement of coal plants that would earn transition credits. It's a good example of how we get going, get creative, make use of different forms of finance in order to provide streams of finance that make it possible for conservation to take place, for the retirement of polluting industries, but at the same time to generate growth and jobs. It has to go together. Another area that President Marcos Jr. and I discussed was the ASEAN Power Grid, a key regional initiative. The Lao PDR, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore Power Integration Project illustrates its feasibility, the feasibility for cross-electricity trade, cross-border electricity trade. And the Philippines is working to establish the Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines Power Integration Project. Once we link both those power integration projects together, we would have established the foundations for an ASEAN power grid. Some more work to be done with subsea cables and so on, but it's a very important start, getting these two power integration projects off the ground, operational, and being able to link them together. It'll benefit all of ASEAN, and it'll benefit each country individually by providing for more energy resilience and making economically viable the renewable energy projects that each of the ASEAN countries, like the Philippines, is able to embark on. Economic viability will require scale, and that whole ASEAN market offers the scale that's needed through the ASEAN Power Grid. We also discussed the Philippines' efforts to drive digital transformation in the public service. Both sides are in discussion on a program to strengthen digital leadership skills in the Philippine civil service, and President Marcos Jr. and I agreed that we should get this going later this year. We've set a deadline for our officials to meet. It's a project that is of priority for the Philippine civil service, and we're very keen to play our role. In our case, we'll be using the National University of Singapore as a training partner. On people-to-people relations, President Marcos has just spoken about it. We really appreciate in Singapore the invaluable contributions of Filipinos working in Singapore in a range of professions, and especially the healthcare workers and frontline personnel who stood shoulder to shoulder with Singaporeans during our fight against COVID-19. Going forward, they are an invaluable part of our workforce, and I'm glad the MOU we signed together today will be able to expand that relationship. The liberalization of the Singapore-Philippines Air Services Agreement announced in May this year should spur greater tourism, but also greater trade and investment, because that's a very important basis for business people, including our SMEs, to take an interest in different parts of the Philippines and find it very convenient to flip between Singapore and the Philippines. The recent Philippines and Singapore Friendship Week, which we held in July, is the latest step in our expanding partnership. In fact, Singapore was the first Asian country to partner the Philippines in this initiative, involving many stakeholders in both countries. So, once again, thank you, President Marcos Jr., for your hospitality, your openness, and the ideas which you're bringing to our relationship and which we are taking forward. I'm looking forward to the rest of my visit. I'm here for 3 days, essentially. And I'm looking forward to each component of the visit, including what we are going to learn about healthcare, sustainability. I'm visiting some of your research institutions as well to look at new rice grains and drought and flood resistant rice species. All important issues for the future, both for the Philippines as well as for Singapore. So thank you very much. And I should just conclude by noting, as President Marcos Jr. has done, that the South China Sea is an extremely important issue. Singapore's position, of course, is well known. We've consistently upheld the rights of all states to freedom of navigation and overflight, and strongly supported the peaceful resolution of disputes in accordance with international law, including the 1982 UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. That's fundamental. UNCLOS has to be the legal framework within which all activities in the oceans and seas are carried out. So thank you once again, President Marcos Jr. Look forward to our state banquet later and to interacting with some of the business people. But I'm also looking forward to the meetings I'm having over the next 2 days. Thank you.
President, welcome. Welcome to Manila, welcome to the Philippines, to you and your delegation. And I'm happy that after just 2 months to have you visiting with us again. And I thank you for finding time in your what must be very busy schedule and tour to find time to be with the Philippines, even for just a little while. Our bilateral relations are deep and multifaceted, and I am pleased that we have taken another step on strengthening our security cooperation with the signing of the MOU on defense cooperation by our defense ministers last July. 2024 has been a very eventful year for both our countries. We convened the informal consultations on our bilateral action plan in February. Our officials have engaged in very substantive dialogue, which has resulted in the conclusion of several MOUs. I'm pleased that after months of negotiations, the MOU on the recruitment of healthcare workers and the MOU on collaboration on carbon credits under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement will be exchanged shortly. I note as well that our respective agencies are actively discussing proposed MOUs in the areas of health and maritime security. In May, I undertook a working visit to Singapore to deliver the address at a Shangri-La Dialogue, where the Philippines articulated its views on important regional and global developments. The Philippines remains optimistic in fostering closer and enhanced cooperation with Singapore in existing areas such as defense and security, trade and investment, and new areas such as sustainability and in energy. MOUs in the fields of health and maritime security are already in the pipeline and are anticipated to be, we anticipate for them to be finalized in the very near future. There will also be the planned signing of MOUs by Philippine local government units and their Singapore private sector partners, a collaboration of a Philippine national government agency and the Singaporean private sector and business-to-business agreements. Your Excellency, as I conclude my opening remarks, I wish you and all of Singapore a happy National Day as you celebrated 59 years of independence last week, a celebration which we hope to emulate when we have our National Day. Please.
Thank you very much, President Marcos Jr. Thank you for your warm hospitality, myself and my delegation. It's interesting that just 2 months after your visit, we're now in a position to actually come to agreement on quite a number of things. The discussions, of course, started before your visit, but your visit provided an impetus for officials to work very hard to conclude several agreements. And I think that's the tone of the relationship that we both prefer. That we meet, we have initial discussions, we explore, but the whole idea is that we want to follow up and conclude agreements that are to our mutual benefit. It's the 55th year of our diplomatic relations, so I'm particularly pleased to be able to make this state visit. In fact, it's my second state visit to an ASEAN country. The first was to Brunei, very early in the year. And I was looking forward to this because it's a warm and long-standing relationship and one which we feel can be built up further, both in traditional areas as well as in new areas. The defense ministers, as President Marcos Jr. has highlighted, have just concluded a MOU on defense cooperation. And beyond that, we are looking now at areas such as healthcare, the environment, several different dimensions of the environment, including carbon credits, infrastructure, and other areas. So I think we're making fine progress, and it's a phase of our relationship that shouldn't be business as normal, incremental change after each meeting, but we really want to take it on a new trajectory. Under your leadership, I'm confident we'll be able to achieve that. I should say, by the way, that, and you know, these things do matter. There was just something very impressive about the performance of Filipino athletes at the Olympic Games.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Yulo's 2 goals is the only athlete from Southeast Asia, from an ASEAN nation, who's had 2 Olympic goals ever in any sport. So it's a real milestone. It's a real milestone for all of us. I mean, we share in a bit of the reflected glory of, the Philippines.
We had a bit of that just the other night when our Olympians came home and came here. And that's what I was telling everyone. Tonight, It's not about us. We're just reflected glory over here, and trying to be part of the of the achievements of our
Yes.
athletes. We are very, very proud, and the welcome that people gave was really overwhelming. They just had yesterday. They arrived the day before yesterday. Yesterday, they had a big parade
Yes.
through the city, because Yulo, who won the 2 golds, comes from the city of Manila.
I see.
People think that Manila is the entire,
Yes.
the entire set, all the different cities and towns that comprise Metro Manila. He comes from the actual city of Manila, which is the oldest part of the city. And what was scheduled to have been perhaps a parade to last about an hour and a half, 2 hours, must have lasted about 4, because there were so many people that
Yes.
came out throwing T-shirts up to be signed, and
Yes.
it was splendid. It was a very, very happy day for the entire Philippines.
Yes.
Thank
Well,
you very much.
that's the power of sports.
Yes, and typical of athletes. When we were sitting for dinner, he said, "Well," I said, "Yeah, no, well done. You know, your 2 goals. It should have been 3. It should have been 3." I spoke to the golfers. I miss it. One shot.
Yes.
Typical athlete. This is a great attitude to have. I said,
Yes.
"Never mind." I said, "You're all very young. You'll compete for many years yet. So well done." And
Yeah.
it gave everyone a boost. It really did.
It did.
Yeah.
I mean, gives everyone a boost because of just the national pride. But
Yes.
as you were suggesting,